Hello, thanks for joining me. This week we've been discussing the Fatal 4 or the Fatal 5 Plus issues that especially we monitor in the DD community for customers' health. So if you've not joined me before, I'm Char Meekins. I'm a DD nurse with a passion and a desire to make a difference in the IDD community in supporting and mentoring DD nurses, training, direct support professionals, supporting agencies and their families. Fatal 4 topic we're talking about tonight, and I was going to look it up here, is constipation. And I wanted to share something with you guys, and I added the website to be able to order one of these yourself. So let me show you. Craig Escuday, who is the president of HRS, created a book. Oh, it's going to be backwards, isn't it? Can I switch it? Well, that didn't work, did it? Okay, it's called Clinical Pearls. So maybe sometime I can figure out how to do this, right? Okay, so that didn't work. Anyway, it's called Clinical Pearls. And if you are a new support person or especially a new nurse in the IDD community, then this is an excellent tool for you to get because it addresses healthcare issues that come up in the for an individual with developmental disabilities. And because maybe we have a customer that can't communicate that they're in pain, or they can say they're in pain, or it shows on their face they're in pain, but you can't identify even where. So these little tips really help you identify what might be going on. So we're going to look at constipation tonight, and I just want to show you this tool because they're pretty cool. They were designed to take a page out, and if you have a concern with a customer's medical or their health and you've seen the PCP. Hello, Mike. Thanks for joining me tonight. If they have an appointment with their PCP, you can copy this sheet out of the book that gives the clinical pearl based on what you want to discuss with the doctor. So one of the fatal 4 or 5 we want to discuss tonight is constipation. So if you've never seen somebody have difficulty with a bowel obstruction, it's pretty obvious you have major problems going on because profuse vomiting, and it's going to look like almost coffee ground or really dark like black bile. It'll be odorous because if you think about an obstruction, if it's not getting through the digestive system and you have a customer that is constipated, then it's got to come out somewhere. So it's going to come back up. And I hate to be gross, but it's a huge issue because it's so important to be monitoring individuals with DD and their intake and elimination. Because if they go several days without treatment with a laxative, Milk-A-Mag, or be with a stool softener, or even a suppository, you could literally have a 911 situation on your hands. And as we talked about earlier this week, because dehydration is such a big issue, constipation is an issue. And also because a lot of our customers don't exercise frequently, and maybe you have a customer that has cerebral palsy and they're in a wheelchair, and they don't have the activity they need to keep their elimination going. And so there's so many different reasons that a customer might have constipation issues, but it is a primary issue. And the other thing that maybe a caregiver doesn't understand is that, let's say they haven't had a stool for 2-3 days, and then all of a sudden now it looks like they have water diarrhea. Well, the issue very well could be an impaction, because what's happening is the liquid is literally going around outside of the stool, causing the water diarrhea, and when really there's still an impaction there. So let me see, and a thing to identify with a customer with DD is that their behaviors very well could change. They would be very irritable and not want to eat, not want to drink. So those would be other signs that could come up. They could be starting to have a low-grade fever. And when a customer is struggling with constipation, that just means that their medications are blocked in their system also. So it almost becomes, and it can become, as Mike knows, one of my favorite pharmacists, that you becomes intoxicated with their medications. A lot of customers that are on medications, which can be very toxic. And then also, if they're vomiting, we talked about this on Monday, if they're vomiting, then obviously the next thing we have trouble with and risk of is aspirating. Because if there has a bowel obstruction, their vomiting is going to be very profuse. And so aspiration is a huge issue. Just making sure your customer, we want to prevent this. So make sure that your customer is getting enough fiber in their diet. They're getting enough fluid, that you are facilitating exercise, whether that's just walking in the home, or whether it's that they have a stander and using that stander a couple hours every day. I think sometimes we don't understand the importance of the different treatments that we provide for the customer, and I can reassure you that there's always a reason for every treatment. There's always a reason. So we cannot ignore those treatments. We need to be faithful in facilitating those getting done. All right. Also make sure that your customer is getting the private bathroom time that they need, like we all do. So that's important. Let me see if there's anything else. Other signs and symptoms besides refusing to eat is maybe they're hitting themselves in the stomach. Maybe they're curling up in bed and not wanting to get up. That they are, it says here, abdominal guarding. So, when a customer's behavior is changed, I think medical. Oftentimes people want to call it a behavior, and they get irritated with maybe that customer's I don't know what they're struggling with at the moment, when actually it very well could be a health issue. So address those health issues first. Make sure they're getting fluids, exercise, and fiber in their diet. And let's prevent constipation and bowel obstructions. So not the most pleasant topic, but any one of us can struggle with constipation and obstructions. I've known a couple of family members that have had obstructions, and they're not fun, and they are serious, and you end up hospitalized. So thanks for joining me, and we will visit tomorrow about tomorrow. We have a couple more fatal issues that come up as a risk for our customers. And one of those is diabetes. So let's talk about diabetes tomorrow. See you then. Bye.